Hello everyone, welcome to our new edition of Viral. I'm your host as always, Ken Dix here. Glad you can join us here on Viral, where we're talking about what is the coronavirus and are we prepared for a global pandemic. Well, first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe, because Viral is the informational channel that we show what's going on in the world. And we take it real critical and real serious. But let's get to it. What is the coronavirus and are we prepared for a global pandemic? Now, what is this deadly disease and why are people dying? And what is the world going to do to combat this deadly disease that is spreading around the world? Let's see what the United States had respond to this outbreak. Watch this.
Fortunately, from what I understand, it is contagious, but the death rate is pretty low. Yeah, I understand the fear.
Yeah. Well, we can see you still have a cough. What do the doctors say about your own condition moving forward as we wrap this up?
Excuse me. Let me get some of that. They said, yeah, I'm fine. I got tested twice, negative both times. The cough, probably just nerves.
And what I've done is I'm going to be announcing exactly right now that I'm going to be putting our Vice President, Mike Pence, in charge. Just received another briefing from a great group of talented people on the virus that is going around to various parts of the world. We have, through some very good early decisions that were actually ridiculed at the beginning, we closed up our borders to flights coming in from certain areas that were hit by the coronavirus and hit pretty hard. And we did it very early. A lot of people thought we shouldn't have done it that early, and we did, and it turned out to be a very good thing. And the number one priority from our standpoint is the health and safety of the American people. And that's the way I viewed it when I made that decision. When those people are getting better, or we think that in almost all cases, the better are getting. We have a total of 15. We took in some from Japan. You heard about that because they're American citizens and they're in quarantine. And they're getting better too. But we felt we had an obligation to do that. It could have been as many as 42. And we found that it was just an obligation we felt that we had. We could have left them, and that would have been very bad, I think, American people. I was really amazed, and I think most people are amazed to hear it. The flu in our country kills from 25,000 people to 69,000 people a year. That was shocking to me. And so far, if you look at what we have with the 15 people, and they're recovering, one is pretty sick, but hopefully will recover. But the others are in great shape. But think of that, 25,000 to 69,000. Over the last 10 years, we've lost 360,000. These are people that have died from the flu, from what we call the flu. Hey, did you get your flu shot? The country's best and worst prepared for an epidemic. And the United States is now, we're rated number one. We're rated number one for being prepared. This is a list of different countries. I don't want to get in your way, especially since you do such a good job. And Mike will be working with the professionals, doctors, and everybody else that's working. The team is brilliant. I spent a lot of time with the team over the last couple of weeks, but they're totally brilliant, and we're doing really well. And Mike is going to be in charge, and Mike will report back to me, but he's got a certain talent for this. And I'm going to ask Mike Pence to say a few words, please. We have hospitals in states that make rooms available, and they're building quarantine areas where you can keep people safely. We're working really well with states. It's a very big part of it. So, my attitude, if Congress wants to give us the money so easy, wasn't very easy for the wall, but we got that one done. If they want to give us the money, we'll take the money. We'll just do a good job with it. I don't think it's inevitable. I think that we're doing a really good job in terms of maintaining borders, in terms of letting people in terms of checking people. And also, that's one of the reasons I'm here today, getting the word out so people they'll know. They're going to know. No, I don't think it's inevitable. I think that there's a chance that it could get worse. There's a chance it could get fairly substantially worse, but nothing's inevitable because we're ready for it. We're really prepared. We have, as I said, we have the greatest people in the world. We're very ready for it. We hope it doesn't spread. There's a chance that it won't spread too. And there's a chance that it will. And then it's a question of at what level. So far, we've done a great job. When you have 15 people with this whole world coming into the United States, and the 15 people are either better or close to being better, that's pretty good.
Right there, that even U.S. President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence held a press conference on what plans does the U.S. have to prevent the coronavirus and what measures they're going to take with this.
At this moment, we have 22 patients in the United States currently that have coronavirus. Unfortunately, one person passed away overnight. She was a wonderful woman, a medically high-risk patient in her late 50s. 4 others are very ill. Thankfully, 15 are either recovered fully or they're well on their way to recovery. And in all cases, they've been let go in their home. Additional cases in the United States are likely, but healthy individuals should be able to fully recover. And we think that will be a statement that we can make with great surety now that we've gotten familiar with this problem. They should be able to recover should they contract the virus. So healthy people, if you're healthy, you will probably go through a process and you'll be fine.
All right. Sorry that Trump mentioned that he's going to let one was dead in Washington State, and from the disease, many more likely. And he put Vice President Mike Pence in charge of the coronavirus thing. So, but let's break it down piece by piece. Okay, here is the coronavirus as it is. Here's a map of what's going around the world, where the CDC has said quarantine stations are part of the entry. In these major cities like southern states such as Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Dallas, even northeast cities like Boston, New York, Philly, and DC, and probably parts in California as San Francisco, LA, and San Diego, even Midwest cities like Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, and Seattle, and Arkansas. So in the world, nearly 60 to 70% of the world is almost covered with the outbreak of coronavirus. But let's get a little bit further down to explain what the symptoms are to watch for, as headaches, runny nose, sore throat, cough, muscle pain for the common symptoms. But for high-level potential complications, such as high fever, trouble breathing, and pneumonia. So it's a lot going on. Woo. It's kind of like we don't know what is it. We know that couple resistance that used to happen way back when, like SARS, mad cow disease, stuff of that nature, and now the coronavirus getting into the effect and how the people are trying to combat it. All right, let's get to let's circle around to what you people had to say about this coronavirus. Let's hear what you had to say about this deadly disease. Watch this.
We're back with our guests talking about the fears surrounding coronavirus. I want to circle back to you, Dr. Medad. You are seen in a Netflix docu-series, 6 parts. It's called Pandemic. Tell us about it.
So it's called Pandemics, and it follows a handful of individual scientists, those that are on the front lines, basically preventing the next big outbreak or pandemic. And I'm just one of the characters of a few that really are striving to ensure that we are protecting not just Americans, but the world from the next big pandemic.
What do you think of the reaction? People have been contacting you from all over.
That's right, from throughout the world. The response has been enormous, and I am certainly very grateful for for it. And it also comes at a time where we're in the midst of a true outbreak happening around the world. Right now, it is an epidemic. It's not a pandemic yet, but we are very close, unfortunately. And with that pandemic stance comes a lot of preparedness and response ahead of time and in the midst and even after. And so this docuseries highlights some of the work that's being done by individuals like myself and many others that are, again, trying to help the overall global community.
China is now accusing the U.S. of spreading fear after new travel restrictions were imposed, including a mandatory 14-day quarantine on returning U.S. citizens who have been in certain parts of China. So, Dr. Drew, are we overreacting?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm hearing this from doctors left and right.
Yes, and we are not overreacting. The press is overreacting, and it makes me furious. The press should not be reporting medical stories as though they know how to report it. If we have a pandemic, I won't know how to tell that we're actually having a pandemic because everything is an emergency. People that are infectious disease specialists, the CDC, the epidemiologists need to take this very seriously. The press needs to shut up because you're more likely to die of influenza
That's
right
now. That's what doctors are saying.
However, and I'm not trying to go against you, but I have a question. It is now beat SARS in terms of fatalities, 362, and they're saying
but its fatality rate is still lower.
But they're saying it spreads fast.
It's a mild illness. It spreads all over the place, and it's only out of these 17,000 documented infected. I bet there's hundreds of thousands of cases, 300 deaths.
Okay.
And always in immunocompromised people, always in people that are at risk for these sorts of things if they get a severe viral respiratory infection, whether it's flu or corona or whatever. All of these can hurt people who are compromised. They can. The rest of us need to wash our hands carefully, get our influenza vaccines, listen to the CDC. If there's a problem, they will let us know.
The CDC made it very clear that 5,000 people just in the last 2 weeks have died from the flu here in America alone.
Why are we panicked about that? Three people died on the streets of Los Angeles this morning from homelessness. Why? If that were coronavirus, people would freak the hell out.
You're right.
Why aren't we putting our priorities in the right place? It's the press. The press does not know how to report on medical issues. It's where I first learned about fake news.
Should we have consultants? How could we fix this?
When Anthony Fauci, who's one of their leaders in infectious disease, gets on national news broadcast, goes, "Don't worry about it. Stop worrying about it."
Good to
and then
know.
if there's some data where he says we need to worry about it, then you report on it. Otherwise, shut up.
Get your flu vaccine.
We talked about this briefly when we were walking in my car, and it was really great to get your opinion on this.
You were talking about the car last night?
Yeah.
You want to talk about this?
Well, people always say we want to get money out of politics, but I always say, well, what about getting money out of clickbait? And I feel like the coronavirus will always have people click on it. The flu will not. And I think that's why the coronavirus is at the forefront of everything you look at, because people are looking at that. And I don't know, is the flu just not sexy enough anymore for people to care?
No, it's not.
No, because it's not. And again, you're right. They're motivated by getting the eyeballs, and the eyeballs come with some exotic infection as opposed to saying influenza killed 5,000 people. Like, oh, well, I guess it does that. Oh, a new infection. This is the one. It's going to get us. No, it's not. Stop it. Be professional journalists. Be what you're supposed to be and collate and present the facts as they are, not with sexy headlines that give us some sort of hysteria.
Right, a lot of people saying online, you heard from the president, the vice president, and Dr. Drew give their analysis on how this deadly disease is affecting people around the world and what measures we're going to do to make sure society is prepared and protect themselves from a disease like that. So it's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and we have to get the information and technology to see what can we do next to prevent something like that from never happening again. Whew. I just pray for everyone who's going through that at this moment. Thank you all for watching this special edition of Viral, where we talk about what is the coronavirus and are we prepared for the global pandemic. I've been your host, Kendrick Dixon. So long, and we'll see you next time for all new edition of Viral.